Hi, the date is the 22nd of August, 2026, and I've been integrating the concept of building yourself instead of finding yourself. Whereas there is a you that stems from your childhood and your environment, and there is reconnecting with that, and then there's building a new you. And for me, the me I wanted to be never really matched up with the me I was or had or developed, or I guess you could say found. And now I'm at the position where I want to build a new me, which is where you do repetitive action, turns into habit, and then turns into who you are. And so for this video, I kind of want to talk about a few of the things that I've been integrating, starting out with sleep, which is fixing my sleep schedule. And a few ways that I've gone about doing that is not eating 3 hours before bed to kind of improve the quality of my sleep, not going on my any of my electronics at least a good while before bed, or not a good while before bed, but reading a book before I fall asleep. And usually I keep my phone plugged in outside of my room so that I don't like have it sitting right next to me. And whenever I get a spare moment, reading a book instead of going on my phone. And at the moment, I'm focusing on a lot of philosophy and mainly around Stoicism and Alderian psychology, which is, I think it's important to know the direction you want to take who you're building your new self into, because I want to build myself into someone who makes the right choices and knows and has a philosophy that can kind of, or understands enough philosophy to kind of live life in a meaningful way and in kind of a more content way. And so if that is the aspect of the new me I'm trying to build, I'm going to read a lot of philosophy books and psychology books to try and understand myself a bit better and build a me who can do that. And then next, am going to start consistently going to the gym. I'm going to get a new membership, and instead of focusing on building a certain muscle or developing a certain body, I want the new me to not look at that and focus on more the habit of discipline, which I can develop just by going to the gym and working out on a specific exercise. I'm thinking of learning to do a, a few good pull-ups. And then other than that, it's eating habits, fixing those and making sure I don't eat too much of the wrong things, especially around obviously eating healthy food, but also around substances, not doing any substances. I'm no longer smoking, and I've been keeping these habits up for about a a good week now. Um, and then just doing my job and committing to my job and living more of an ordinary life while I slowly build who I want to be. And at the moment, I'm just doing the fundamentals, which I think is the most important: eating, sleeping, drinking enough water, and enough exercises. And I'm building habits around those until I can integrate that into who I am. And then I will move on to more complicated things like career goals and things in those areas. But first, you kind of have to focus on the fundamentals of what you want, and then you can shift over to the more complicated stuff in life. And it's not particularly easy because you know what you have to do, but it's not very like heroic or kind of very cool. It's just doing the same thing over and over again. And when building and when starting with the fundamentals, and people ask like, what are you doing? I'm getting better sleep, I'm reading books. And they're just like, when they're off chasing their career and their dreams and everything, it's easy to be looked down upon. But what I was looking at one of my books, and one of my books, it says the courage to like yourself. And that is, when buying that at the store, that was a bit like, I wouldn't say embarrassing, but like the kind of storekeeper gave me a look of like empathy. Or what's that thing when someone like feels for you? And it's just like, I don't want your empathy, it's not like an angry thing, but I don't want people's empathy, even when I'm reading books like that, because there may be a point in their lives, maybe they're career focused, maybe they're in their career, maybe they're in their dream career. There may be a point in their lives where they don't feel like they like themselves, and then they're going to have to stoop down, or it's not even stooping, maybe it's going up to my level or stoop down to my level. There's no really up or down. They're going to have to figure out how to like themselves again. Whereas kind of completing that journey at an earlier age where I'm becoming who I want to become, that those issues can be kind of rectified much earlier. And you can build a lot, like becoming who you were or finding yourself, that entangles a lot of, you already exist, you just need to understand yourself better. But when you're building who you are and creating who you are and those kind of things, you understand yourself way better, and you can accept yourself way better, and you can like yourself way better because you chose this. You chose everything, and you created it, and you put the work in for it too. It's like, I've got friends who really want success, and they turned to gambling, and when they would make a lot of money, it would disappear just as fast because they didn't really earn that money. And I think becoming someone who you can like is like earning that value. And some people will just be delusional. Some people will live a more delusional life where they don't have to worry about that as much. But in a position where you have the awareness to be a kind of harsh judge on yourself and see how high you could go, then building yourself is really important, because that is the only way to truly like yourself and truly value yourself and have self-worth. It's like the bar, it's more difficult because the bar is set much higher when you are more aware of how high you can go. But if you reach that bar, it's kind of awesome. And yeah, so right now I'm just sticking to the fundamentals, and hopefully I can keep building and get to a point where I can start working on goals. And kind of where the next, well, like right now I'm walking up the stairs, I'm only focusing on the next step, and I hope that I can integrate the fundamentals into my life enough that I can start looking at the next step as some of my goals and ambitions and careers and whatever else. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. See you guys.